Hello, everybody. My name is Lori Beulah with Real Living Volpini Realty Group. And as promised, I am here with my friend Nick Zajaczkowski from Waterstone Mortgage. And
Hello, everyone.
we had asked you a few days ago to ask us some questions about how this whole season we're in, how this has impacted the housing industry and real estate sales and all of that. So we got together and we have come with answers to your questions. And so before we get started, though, I just want to say that we wish you and your family the absolute best. We wish you health and safety, and we're wishing you provision and everything for you and your families and all of your loved ones. This entire world has been impacted by this. So don't feel alone, because we're all in this together. And I think I believe we're all going to get through it together. And I think we're going to be stronger on the other side of this. And there is the other side of this. This is going to pass. I'm very optimistic about that. So, who wants to start? Do you want to start, Nick, with a question, or you want me to start? What do you want to do?
You can ask me a question from one of your
from one of my So one of the questions that that a lot of people asked, this was across the board, several people asked this question, is can you get a loan right now? Can people get a loan?
Yes. Waterstone, the company I work for, we are a mortgage bank, and we are still open. We are working remotely as loan officers, loan originators, but we have the technology to not only apply online or obviously over the phone. We could do, like we're doing right now, we could do a video chat, whether it's through FaceTime or Zoom or Google Duo. There's a number of different technologies at our disposal to use if clients want to kind of do a face-to-face chat like we're doing now, Lori. And then our processing team, they're still working. They're working remotely from their homes, being safe. Our underwriters that are normally at our corporate office or at one of our branches, they're still working. They're working remotely. Again, being safe and trying to stay safe for their families and the ones that they impact on what would be a everyday normal basis. So we're still open, still doing lending. It's definitely a different time, and we with the pretty much everything has to be digital or video chat and stuff like that now, but we're still absolutely doing lending right now.
Okay, good. That's good to know.
Yes.
And another question to piggyback off of that, some people were asking what the interest rates are. So is this impacting interest rates, and how long does it take to close a loan now?
Closings, hopefully, as long as the county buildings are remaining open, which, as me and you talked about earlier, I give anybody and everybody at our county offices, such as the courthouse, the recording office, you have home inspectors, you have appraisers, all of these people are still working. So I give them a lot of credit because they are the ones that are continuing to work so our industry can, keep moving. And so this well-oiled machine can keep going. So, I mean, we're experiencing a little bit longer. Normally, I believe my personal average to close a loan in 2019 was 24 days. And I see now, because it's taken a little bit longer to get certain documents back, such as from the IRS, or maybe it's taken a little bit longer for, other things that come in, or, verifications of employments because they're working at a limited staff as well. But it's still taking, I would say, on the average of 45 days right now. They're anywhere from 30 to 45 days. And, like I've always encouraged, 30 days is great, but
Mm-hmm.
45 days is still really good too. And
Mm-hmm.
with all the changes that have happened over just the
Mm-hmm.
last couple weeks, I think 45 days is still very, very
That is
fast
good.
and very safe.
That is good. And everybody's being very flexible and very cooperative. And so the other agents that I work with, if we have to do a contract extension, that's, nobody's really balking at that. So
Yeah.
maybe, instead of closing 45, it happens to be 47 days.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to squawk at that. It's just the process is what it is, but it is moving just at a little bit of a slower pace.
Yeah. And I'm very happy that it seems like everybody that I've talked to in our industry, whether it's a title company
Mm-hmm.
or an attorney or other realtors, they're very, they understand the reality that we live in now.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, if it takes a little bit longer, that's fine. There's no problem there. So I
Mm-hmm.
think granting an extension is no big deal any longer.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question for you, if I
Oh,
can.
okay. Yeah.
Um, I would imagine you've probably gotten asked this from buyers or sellers, but like what are you doing as far as like are you doing anything like virtually to show houses or
Mm-hmm.
like if for your listings,
Mm-hmm. For
how
sure.
are like people
For
that want to
sure.
come in and look at a listing? Is that
Yeah.
still going on, all that stuff?
We are still doing that, but myself, and I bet a lot of other agents are going to do this too, for my listings, and this is just to keep my clients safe and really the buyers too. First, I'm asking that for people who want to see my listings, they would consider virtual showings first, virtual tours first. And then if they want to proceed, they really like what they see, they're considering an offer, they could even write an offer contingent on us seeing it in person.
Okay.
And my sellers are okay with that. And then when they do see the home in person, we ask that just the buyer only, not the buyer plus the mom and dad or the cousins or kids. If it's a husband and wife, obviously that would be okay. But a lot of buyers, especially first time buyers, they like to bring the whole family to see houses, which I understand that. But in
Yeah.
this season, we're just asking that you limit the amount of people that are going inside of a home to see it. And then the buyer is really welcome to FaceTime their family members or whatever to walk through the house with them. And
Nice.
then when we do get inside of a listing, what I've been asking my sellers to do is open up all your bedroom doors, the bathroom doors, your closet doors, your cabinet doors, so we don't have to touch anything. They don't have to touch because the buyers like to look inside cabinets and they like to look inside closets. And so
Yeah.
the less doorknobs we have to touch because the door is open, that's good. That's really that's safe. That's
Yeah.
keeps everybody healthy. And then I also I provide for my sellers hand sanitizer, gloves, booties, so that when buyers come in,
Wow.
they have all that equipment to put on, so that really we're not touching anything.
What's your address? I'm coming over to steal some hand sanitizer.
I know. I'm getting freaked out because it's so hard to find.
I
And
know.
the wipes, oh
Yep.
my gosh. So
Keep
yeah,
those things under
that
lock and
part's
key.
yes, yes. So yeah, I'm providing that for just for my clients, and I have a few
Good.
at home. But I'm afraid when I run out, what are we gonna do? um, what was another question? Oh, somebody asked. Oh, the interest rates. How is this impacting interest rates? Are they? Because somebody said that they read somewhere that this is going to be a volatile season where they're going to see interest rates shoot up, and then some people say that they're going to flatten and be zero. What have you seen?
Well, a couple weeks ago when the Fed announced um, the they dropped the rate down to 0. What a lot of people didn't understand about that was the rate was at 0 for a very long time. And interest rates were great then, and they were great after. When our economy started to bounce back over the last couple of years, and our economy really started to become a prosperous, and you see the stock market increasing, and all that stuff. And I think our economy has done very well over the last probably 10 years, since like 2008, 2010, when things have been trending in the upward. But what we're experiencing now, of course, with a lot of job layoffs and job losses and cutback of hours and all that stuff, there's a lot of things that play into the mortgage rates. But mortgage rates over the last few weeks have been very great. They're really good on whether you're looking at an FHA, VA, USDA program, or a conventional loan. They're still very good. What's going to happen as far as once this stuff is done and we go back to the way things normally would function, nobody really knows. But if the stock market dropped 30% and the rates have kind of, I don't want to say they like really got that much, they got better, but it wasn't like they went from 5% to 3%. They went from like 4% to 3.5%. So I mean, that's a half a point drop. So that's a good drop. But I don't think after all this stuff, I think if anything, rates are going to be very much where they have been when all this is done, because then you have the stock market that's also going to hopefully bounce back. Hopefully.
That's what we're praying for.
But then again, you just never know. So I think rates have been very great over the last couple of years, in all honesty. And they're definitely better now than what they were a month ago. So and I think they're obviously, for now, they're going to stay down there. Good, because of the situation that the world is in.
The whole world. Gosh. That is that kind of, if I allow myself to stay there too much, the whole entire world is impacted by this. Not one person on this planet is free from what we're going through. So we're all in this together. We're going to get through it together.
And it's a good time to be a buyer. In this market. I know I've had several phone calls of people saying, well, I'm looking to get pre-approved. Is it okay to get pre-approved right now? Are you guys still working? Or, my realtor said before, they want to show me a house, I need to call you to get pre-approved. And I was like, they're just being a good realtor. That's what they, they should have a pre-approval letter, because then not only do they know that you're good to go, you're a serious buyer, you're good to go. They're doing their due diligence before they start sending you listings and going around town, especially with what's going on. And I think it's a very good time to be both a buyer and a seller right now.
That's right.
I think house prices are good for sellers, but I also think it's a good time for a buyer because interest rates. And it's just I think it's a very good market right now for both. It's very favorable for both. And then you see, I know we look at a lot of data analysts, and you see rent starting to continue to rise as it has over the last 10 years. And if you look, you're paying $800 a month to rent an apartment, or you can pay $800 a month and buy $100,000 house. So it's to me, it's a no-brainer. And you have somewhere you call your home, your own house. It's yours.
And you're getting equity. And thank you for saying that about buyers and about getting pre-approved, because I do have several buyers who have been pre-approved and they're ready to go. And it's exactly what you said. They're like, we don't want to sign another lease. And there are people out there who are, what do they call them? Essential workers. And
Yeah,
if anything, they're working more now than they did before.
they are.
People who are in delivery services, because people still need things delivered, healthcare. I have a daughter who's working in a hospital in Columbus,
Wow.
and she, and they really are on the front lines, but they're needed more. Um, so there's some people who really have not been impacted by this loss of job, and so they have been pre-approved, or they have like a nice savings that they're going to be okay if it does happen to them. But yeah, for buyers right now, there is less competition, I would think, because there's not as many buyers out there right now. And for sellers who want to put their home on the market, it is a good time because you have less competition from other sellers putting their home on the market. So
Those are true points.
yeah. And so there's less competition on both sides. So we almost have a balanced market, probably just for these next few weeks until we get back to normal.
Yeah,
Previously, it was totally a seller's market because we had all these buyers that, couldn't find anything. And unfortunately, because of what's happening right now, there has been some buyers that have pushed the pause button, and we're being understanding of that as realtors. Even though everything, they're ready to go, but they just want to push the pause button for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just to see where this is going to go, where they're going to land. And then I also had some sellers that said maybe we should wait to put our home on the market. Then I have the exact opposite with some of my clients. Like, we're ready to go. We don't want to sign another lease that's going to be coming up in June. So we need to find something now. And I have sellers and they're in these big houses and they really want to downsize. They don't want to continue the upkeep. They don't want to keep going up and down the steps. They're retired. They want to enjoy themselves. They don't
yeah,
want to be cutting grass and all of that. And so they're looking to downsize to probably a condo or something. So um, it's kind of like whatever you feel comfortable doing,
yeah. And that's what
whatever
I
is best for you.
and
Hmm.
that's what I tell people too, because you don't want to put someone in a bad situation. And
Right.
I know I've known you for, I think what,
Hmm.
5, 6 years now,
Years. Uh-huh.
at
Yep.
least.
Yep.
And I know that you would never do that to any of your clients.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't do that to any of
Right.
mine as well.
Mhm. Yep.
So I think, whatever is safe and comfortable for the
Yes.
client, whether it's
Yep.
a buyer or a seller,
Hmm.
is is the best case, the best option.
Yep. And really, and so, the best time to buy or sell is when you're ready.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we are doing, from a real estate perspective, we're doing everything we can to keep everybody safe. There were
Good.
times when I would drive my buyers around. So we're not doing that, where everybody's driving in their own cars. And I have all that, mask, gloves, sanitizer in my car, and we all suit up when we're going in. And we're limiting our time. We're practicing social distancing. And so if I'm going to walk ahead of them and just kind of point out the features of a home, and we're not going to discuss the home while we're in the home, we're just going to see the home, walk through it. And then if we have things we want to discuss, maybe they're thinking about writing an offer, we'll discuss that outside
Yeah,
or over the phone
good.
later. So we're doing everything we can to keep our buyers and sellers safe. And there are still transactions. I'm hoping that I have a seller who is, he's ready to list. And I think, that home is going to go fast because it is it's a great home. And,
Good.
but my colleagues are still writing offers,
Oh
and
yeah.
I still have clients, and Nick is still getting contracts. And the reason why I like to work with Nick, and I'm going to put his contact information as well as mine in this post. I'm going to include that so that if you have further questions, you can contact him directly. But Nick, the reason why I like using Waterstone is that they have their own underwriters. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Your underwriters are right there with you, so you don't have to take the file and send it off somewhere else. And He is like really good at telling you exactly what you need to show to get your loan closed. And even those clients who I've sent to you and they could not get pre-approved at that time, you gave them a couple of tips. Do these things over the next 6 months, 8 months, your credit score will be where it needs to be, your debt to loan will be where it needs to be. So now I have some buyers who used to say, I'm never going to be able to buy a house, to where they're saying in 8 months, we're going to start going home shopping because I'll be ready.
Yeah.
So that's why I like working with Nick, because he works fast but efficient and helpful also for people who may want to purchase now, but they're not ready. So, I would encourage you to, if you don't know where you are and you're thinking about buying in the future, to give him a call, and he'll tell you exactly what you need to do to get ready.
Yep, we do. We offer that free credit repair service. So,
Well, that's
even
awesome.
if people think that, they're a long ways away, or, oh, I just had this and this happen, or, this happened a few years ago. I know I've dealt with a lot of people that have had bankruptcies, foreclosures, or divorce. And those are three very big life-changing events, and they impact credit scores a lot. And, we honestly believe that everybody deserves a home or a second chance. And I'm more than happy to, if I can't get them pre-approved right now, like you said, maybe it takes a month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. I just closed a loan for somebody, and I'm not kidding. 5 years. I pulled his credit first time in May of 2015.
Wow.
And he just closed March 26th. And
awesome.
he called me after he closed, and he was like, Nick, you stuck with me for 5 years. You answered when I called. I had tons of questions. You answered them. And he had a judgment and a tax lien. And I, told him what to do and gave him all the steps, all the phone numbers. And that to me is
so rewarding. It is.
It is.
I love that.
He now owns a home.
That's awesome.
He's one of the people that, he's one of the frontline workers.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, we are, I thanked him for his service. He was a military guy, and he's worked as a police officer and as a firefighter.
Wow.
So, and I just was like, you are an awesome man, and thank you for your services in the Marines and your services in our local areas as a police officer and a firefighter. So
that is beautiful. I love those stories. That's one of the reasons why I became a realtor, because I love everybody fulfilling their dream of becoming a homeowner.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Sometimes people have to rent, and it's necessary at times. I understand that. But I think that's just meant to be temporary and not permanent, not generational.
Yeah.
And that there's a way to get out of that cycle. And I love helping people do that. Very rewarding. And I know it's the same for you.
Yep.
Well, another question I have, I guess this would be more of a question for me. Somebody asked, what could I do on the outside of my home to increase the value of my property? And that's a very good question, because really, if you have a gorgeous home on the inside and it's not appealing at all on the outside, people won't even really want to come see it. So anything that you can do to make your outside shine, like power washing, pull your weeds, clean the gutters, mulch, trim the bushes, even cleaning their windows. If you could have a nice sunlight reflecting off of your clean window in the front of the house, that makes a difference. Paint, if there's any peeling or chipping paint any around your trim or whatever, those kind of things add significant value to your property, because it increases what you've done on the inside. And like I said, people won't want to even come see it, because they think if the outside looks like this, then the inside, probably has nothing to offer. So, and that's really half the battle, because that's what's going to get people to come inside. So yeah, and it is good. And there's property values are going up, even in this area where I live in the Cornersburg area. The homes that are similar to mine I bought this house about 8 years ago, and the homes in the area have sold for 20,000 more than what I paid for mine. So property values are going up. Because I think that was a question that somebody asked, how is this affecting property values? Depending on where you live, I guess. But you can ask me about a specific area or your particular property, and I could tell you what's been selling in your neighborhood and at what prices. But yeah, from what I've seen in my clients where they've been wanting to list their homes, their properties values have been going up. There's a lot of factors that goes into that, but from what I've seen, property values have been going up. What other questions do we have here? I think I answered most of them just from us having our little conversation. What I will say, somebody said, can you calm my fears? One of the questions were, can you calm my fears? I don't know if I should make a move right now. And so like we said earlier, you should make a move when you're not scared to make a move.
Yeah.
I do tell my buyers, even before this whole season that has encroached upon us, there's a normal sense of nervousness when you go to buy or sell, because your home is your biggest purchase probably of your lifetime. And so, yeah, there's going to be some nervousness when you go to buy a house. I tell my buyers, like, you might, after we write this offer and it's accepted, you might have buyer's remorse and like start hyperventilating, like, oh my God, what did I do? That is completely normal because it is a huge investment. So that's completely normal. So there is some normal nervousness that goes into buying or selling and making any kind of big moves like that in life. So my suggestion would just be to look at your pros and cons, look at your life situation, look at what you want to accomplish and what your goal is, and then make your decision to move forward or not based on those answers. And I can give expertise and Nick can give expertise on the lending side and on the real estate agent side. But then ultimately you put all that information together and then you make the best choice that you can for you and your family.
Yep.
So I hope that we have answered all of your questions. And if we have not, again, you can contact us directly and we'll be glad to do that. And, if you're looking to buy or sell or you have other questions about any real estate issues, I do have a lot of investors out there. They mostly buy using cash. And those are deals that I haven't really seen a slowdown. The only thing that has been impacted with my cash buyers is that we talked about this earlier, Nick, the people that they're self-employed and they go in and clean out homes that have been vacant for a long time or they've been foreclosed upon. Some of the investors have had to hold off a bit before they go in and renovate a home because they're not really allowed to go in and clean it out yet. So
I see.
Yeah, so there's some things that are slowing down as a result of it. So as long as you have a little bit of patience and understanding and flexibility, which I'm seeing everybody having that now because of where we are, we kind of have to, but things still can get done. And so I'm hoping that, wherever you are thinking about buying or selling, that I hope this information was helpful to you. And if you have more questions, feel free to contact us directly. And also just want to end with letting you know that, we're all in this together. Our prayers, me and my husband, when we are praying about the situation, we're praying that everybody who doesn't have it will not get it. And we're praying that anybody who has it will recover from it. And that's talking physically with this virus, and also emotionally, financially, that everybody will be able to recover even greater than what we were before. that's what we speak over everybody every day during our prayer time. And, since we are, having all this time with our families, we've been enjoying walking the neighborhood. I actually met neighbors that I haven't met before. Because when you're forced to slow down, then you really get to focus on what's important. And we have really nice neighbors in this neighborhood, and I hadn't met them. And we have some new people that just moved in, and we were able to meet them. So enjoy this slowing down time and just make the best of it, because it is what it is. We really can't change these circumstances, but we are wishing the best for everybody. Anything you need to say before we end this, Nick?
No, you pretty much just said it. Enjoy family time. Enjoy the time of peace and quiet, as hard as it can be, especially for most of us that are just so used to the hustle bustle for business and just everyday life. Just pump the brakes a little bit now. Stay safe. Continue to watch and listen to our governor's updates. And if you like doing that, if some people don't like doing it because it's discouraging, just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, there is.
And we're going to get there. It may be a few weeks, it may be a month or whatever, maybe 2 months, but it's going to happen. And God's going to bring us through, and we're all looking forward to the time of going back to normal life. But while we have this time, I was talking to you earlier, and we go for a walk almost every day, except for if it's raining, and sometimes 2 walks. And enjoy time with family, and because it's the time that we wouldn't normally have with family.
That's right.
So enjoy the time of being considered on lockdown or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Change your perspective. Like, this is a great time to get to know your family and your kids, and if you got to use FaceTime to talk with your people, that works too. Technology, thank God we have technology, so we can still see the people we love. And so that I think that's part of the reason why we are on lockdown, because we're moving too fast. So now we have to slow down, and we're slowing down and making the best of this. So
absolutely.
Stay healthy. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Again, feel free to contact either one of us if you have questions. All right.
All righty.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.